Did you know that Kratos from God of War is based on Kratos from the Greek mythology, and his name means power? You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello, welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode 140. My name's Gareth Bray. I'm going to be your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How you doing, James?
Not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm good, good. And on my virtual right is Mr. Darren Edwards. How you doing, Darren?
Hello, I'm all right, thank you. Yourself, Gareth?
Very good, thank you. Worried about your mic connection. I keep hearing you outside, but it's quite funny. We think you're out in the street. Darren's broadcasting from the high street today.
I've been kicked out by Ryan, so I'm on a street corner. I'm committed to the podcast, so it's all right.
Good, good. And on my virtual opposite is Mr. Richard Dobson. How you doing, Richard?
Hello, I'm good. How are we all today?
Very good. We're going to do another conference special because there's been lots of conferences. But first, we need to see how our week's been going. Richard, how's your week been?
Not too bad. COVID has finally hit our household, though. Laura's tested positive for the first time, and I think I've started coming down with it. Initially, we thought I'd passed it on to her because I've just got over a pretty bad cold, so we thought that might have been it. But it seems that I'm starting with a sore throat and a bit of a cough now as well. So,
oh no, take care.
At least everything's going to be shut on Monday, so it's not like we can go anywhere.
Oh, Darren's on the street again. What's going on the street, Darren? What's happening?
I haven't moved. I'm very still. I don't know what's going on.
Is he in the queue?
He's in the queue.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say anything, but it's been 3 hours now, and we've made some progress.
Darren, how's your week been?
Yeah, not bad for me. So lots of work, but we started buying some bits and bobs for a Halloween party. So looking forward to that, getting in early, trying to go big for it this year. But other than that, yeah, pretty standard week for me.
Okay, good. James, you've got an exciting week, haven't you? Been away?
Well, I mean, exciting's a little bit of a stretch. I've been in Yorkshire. When I was a little bit behind the times. No offence, Richard. It's been a tough week.
Tekken.
We're no internet. One router to share throughout the whole town. It's a bit worrying, but I managed to get through it. I watched a few ducks play on the lake, and that was the highlight of the week.
Great.
Yeah, right now.
Good, rock and roll. My week, because I live in London, it's quite quite central. Basically, the end of the queue is literally to the left of me where I live. So it's quite funeral heavy, let's say, in Lion State. So I'm right next to the end of the queue, which isn't great. But it's it's a big event. People are doing it, there you go. But away from all that, we have been in conferences, again, many conferences. Not only was there Tokyo Game Show, which we're going to cover a little bit of, we knew about the Xbox ID. What's it called? Xbox? Idea Xbox. But PlayStation and Nintendo decided to get in on the game last minute, and they've done two little showcases as well. So we're not going to cover everything, but we're just going to go through things that we liked or things that are of interest, maybe one by one, and that's going to be our little chat this week about things. There's a lot of stuff in there. Should we start by the PlayStation State of Play? We do it in order.
Yeah.
I thought it was anger from someone. I thought I heard a growl.
I heard that. So.
My throat.
Oh, sorry, Richard. Richard, let's start with you. What was your highlight from this 25-minute State of Play?
Probably my highlight of the whole week was the announcement that Like a Dragon Ishin was getting a full remake on current gen consoles. So there was a big RGG Summit as well, which we'll go into in a bit. But it had been a bit quiet from those guys recently since Lost Judgment last year, so we were eager to know what they've been working on. And the Yakuza series is sort of decided to be more in line with the Japanese series, so they've got rid of the name Yakuza in the West, and it's now going to be known as Like a Dragon. But Like a Dragon Ishin is one of the spin-offs set in the feudal era of Japan, and never had a release in the West. So us Like a Dragon fans are excited to finally get our hands on this one.
And so it's never been. So you never had it in the West at all. So it's like a sub story. So you've got Like a Dragon now, which is the Yakuza games, whatever number that is. Then you've got this spin-off. Is that right?
Yeah.
Darren, close your window. That's it. He's out in the street again. You got Like a Dragon, and then you've got Judgment as well, which is another sub plot of this. Is that right?
Judgment started off as a spin-off, but I think that's now its own sub-franchise sort of thing. The mainline Like a Dragon / Yakuza games are going to be predominantly turn-based going forward, whereas the Judgment series is much more of your action brawler. And this Like a Dragon Ishin is, from the trailer, is going to be very violent samurai swords and gunplay.
Good.
Again, very different, but very much looking forward to that. It's another one that comes out at the start of 2023, though.
Great.
We needed another game.
Yeah, we need another big, long, 80-hour game as well. We haven't got enough of it. Good. Like a Dragon, yeah. What about you, James? What was your takeaway from this?
I mean, that was definitely one of the highlights. I quite enjoyed that one too. But the other one was Stellar Blade, which used to be called Project Eve. And now it's got an official title. And it's one of those like RPGs where everything has to be timed, all your attacks have to be timed, and it just looks quite enjoyable, but very action-packed. And I don't know if it'll be a bit tricky, but it's more strategy-focused than, let's say, button mashing.
Right.
That's what I like in the game. I don't really just hit buttons brainlessly. So hopefully this will be a nice little strategic RPG that we can enjoy on PlayStation.
Right, good. On PlayStation that you haven't got.
I know. Devastating.
Devastating.
That was my highlight.
Good. Sorry, James. Oh, sorry, James. There'll be lots more you can play. Darren, what was your highlight?
I was really intrigued by Pacific Drive, which was announced, which looks like almost like a driving survival horror game. There's all sorts of crazy things going on somewhere in rural America. Apparently it's inspired by the Stalker series, so it looks brilliant though. It looks quite art housey, so that really piques my interest. I don't really know that much about it, but am I right in thinking it's Ironwood Studios' first game from the trailer? So it looks brilliant. I can't wait to find out more about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at it thinking, is this like, those games, I think maybe Richard reviewed this, maybe, that game when you're driving that car across the country and you're having to take care of it?
Oh, yeah. What was that called now?
I can't remember. It escapes me.
You're picking up your family, I can't remember. But you're just you're having to sort of do maintenance on the car as you go. I'm thinking, is it part like this now as well? Is it, are you in the car? But I think you can get out of the car and there's some exploration outside. But yeah, it does. I'm with you on this. I think it looks really intriguing.
Definitely.
Pacific Drive. I think we've got to talk about the big thing at the end. It's God of War, Ragnarok. I can never say Ragnarok. How do you say it?
Really? Ragnarok.
That's it. There's a big trailer for that. I think, again, we're seeing more and more of this game. Hopefully that's going to be it, because I don't want to see any more of it until I play it now.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it did look. It kind of looked. It looked a bit more like. It looked like a little bit more like the original game, Gods of War, which was much more about kind of like these huge boss battles, really, wasn't it? In the first 3 God of Wars, you were sort of fighting gods on these huge colossus all the time. I'm replaying the 2018 God of War at the moment. It's quite interesting. I'm really enjoying it again. I'm doing a replay, and it's interesting. It seemed a lot more kind of like big kind of set piece battles this time. I mean, it looks great. It's going to be interesting. Do you looking forward to it, Darren?
I am, absolutely. I've got a confession. I haven't actually completed the first one yet.
My God.
It kind of sank, I know, down my list. But no, I think when I saw the controller announcement first, I thought, oh no, that's not going to be the end of the showcase, is it? I was quite relieved when they had a new trailer for it. But yeah, it was going to be. I heard rumours it was going to be a trilogy, but they said no. This is it. It's all happening in Ragnarok, so it's going to be a big game. So yeah, it does look brilliant. I need to play the first one again and get ready for it.
Yeah. Richard, are you looking forward to it? Aren't you?
Yes, yeah, very much. I did put on my list about the controller because I'm going to try and get one of those because I think that looks really good. And I'm same as Darren. When I saw that, I was like, oh, that better not be like the announcement. But no, that trailer, it's the bit at the end where he's fighting Thor and they both throw
Yeah.
each other and you're just like, this is going to be incredible.
Yeah. And the Valkyries and stuff as well. It looks brilliant.
James, you're going to buy a PlayStation 5 just for this game? Or you can play it on your PlayStation 4.
I won't do that either, probably. I don't want to. I just can't get to grips with that controller.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just not for me.
No.
But the game will be fantastic. I guarantee it.
You've seen the Twitch stream of the whole thing, haven't you, in the 2000?
I have.
Yeah, so you do that
I enjoyed
again.
that.
You watch me.
Yeah.
I'll do it for you. No.
I don't know. I see what else is streaming. On the waiting list.
I think I'll go with that as well. Good. That's the PlayStation stuff. We got through. So let's do the ID at Xbox showcase. Oh, good. So, yeah.
I can't really know I mentioned Hogwarts Legacy. The new trailer for an exclusive mission.
I was going to mention it.
Yeah. I mean, I thought he didn't like exclusives anymore.
Yeah.
It's weird that you want an exclusive mission.
Yeah.
They actually looked like a completely different game than last time.
It did. It really did.
Between the trailers. I couldn't believe it was the same game.
I think they've got to stop putting out trailers. Because every trailer they put out seems to make it look worse. And I don't think we talked about this, I think, last week or the week before with Richard. It isn't. I think it's still going to be a good game. And it did look, from actually watching the gameplay stuff, it looks good, but this doesn't do any favours, does it?
No.
No. Stop it. That's all we're saying. Good. ID at Xbox Showcase. Let's start with Richard. What have you got from this? What's your one highlight?
I don't know that one of the games got mentioned is out on Game Pass already. Metal Hellsinger, but I just thought I would mention it as well because I reviewed it for the site, and I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5. And if you're a fan of modern metal music, because Gareth found out that he's not a fan of it the other day, and yeah, it would very much be up your street. It's very much in keeping with Doom. Shooting aliens whilst listening to metal music, which was one of the best things about that game. But this time you have to keep your shots and stuff in time with the beat of the music, which is where this new mechanic comes into play. And it's good. It's what is in the game is very good. Some of the singers that they've got from various different bands are real like high quality metal singers. It's just very short. There's only 8 individual levels which take less than 20 minutes each. There's these things called torments that you unlock after finishing at a specific level, but these are all the same arenas, and all these do is unlock a thing called sigils, which just basically buffs to your characters, but they're not. You don't necessarily need these to finish the main game either. Yeah, it's very short, and I was expecting a little bit more from it.
Yeah.
What was there was enjoyable. I just wish there was a bit more of it.
It's hard, isn't it? How much is it without Game Pass? I mean, it's free on Game Pass.
This is the other thing, because I think I wouldn't have had so much of an issue, but it's 30 odd quid.
Right.
And I think it's only on Series X as well. So it looked great, but it just a few more levels or something different. So I know that Doom sort of has all these individual things within the levels themselves, and these levels are a lot bigger. But there's no reason why you need to then venture off the main path in these levels and they become really linear.
Yeah.
There's no collectibles or anything like that added to it. It's just lacking something.
Darren's at the airport now. Darren, what's going on with yours? It's stopped now.
I can only plead innocence. I've no idea.
Yeah,
I sat here very still, very well
I
behaved.
don't know what happened. Yeah, it's like the moment you stop, you just got to carry on talking. When it stops, yeah. Metal Hellsing, it's free on Game Pass. So give it a go. But I think Richard's reviews.
That's crazy.
Some thought, yeah. Darren, what's your highlight from the ID at Xbox Full Showcase?
Mine was Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, which I think looks like a lot of fun. So this was towards the end of the showcase, and it's coming out very soon, I think, mid-October, and it's also going to be on Game Pass, which is good news, along with quite a few other Game Pass announcements, which is really good for the service in a year where people may have thought, there aren't that many games, but I think we've learned in the past week that there's plenty to play for the rest of this year. So what it looks like it is almost like a big game of hide and seek, where you can play online, either cooperatively or kind of PvP wise, and it's a 4v1 setup where you've got to play as part of a team of new Ghostbusters, or you can play as the Ghost, and it just looks really good fun. It looks like it's got all of the kind of iconic stuff from the films that people will love, like proton packs. I think we saw Ecto 1 as well. So after the recent film, which I really enjoyed, I'm very much in the mood for this, so I can't wait to get my hands on it.
Okay, yeah, it does look good. I mean, can you play it on your own? Is it a single player?
I don't think it is. I think it's just multiplayer.
Right. Okay.
But it's supported online, and with Game Pass, there'll be a good player base, so I can't see it being a problem.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Is it on Game Pass?
Yeah, it's coming to Game Pass.
Oh, is it?
Which will be really good. So that'll hopefully just give it a really good player base straight out of release date, which would be good.
Good, brilliant.
You can get bots in as well.
Right?
Can you?
Bots in, so you can still play it. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's good to
know. James, what was your highlight?
Just the one.
Well, you can have two if you want. I'll give you two.
Oh, sorry, I meant I can't even think of one. Although, I think more so for Paul than me, Call of the Wild the Angler.
Oh, I thought you might bring this up.
Yeah, open world fishing game. It looks like the bee's knees.
They spent enough time on it.
But it looks interesting though, because you don't know where to fish, so you just go around finding the best places, and then you can play it with other people. You're like, oh yeah, this is good over here. Come and join me. I think it'd be good if it's on Game Pass, and then it'll be a real catch.
Oh my word!
Oh, ba-dum.
Wow.
But yeah, that was probably my highlight, unfortunately.
Right.
I think it's a really poor showcase.
Yeah, I don't think I've really got anything apart from the things you mentioned. But the thing I will mention is something we probably missed just to chat about from the State of Play, which was the Tekken announcement. So I might have that in my ID Xbox Showcase one. Tekken 8. Are you anyone excited about Tekken 8?
Yeah.
Oh, Richard, tell us why. We saw a lovely little trailer doing so. It's in the Unreal Engine 5. That's what it's been put into. We saw a little trailer between two people fighting. I don't know who they were. It looked very rainy and good. Richard.
Come on now, Gareth.
Richard, tell us about who they are and what they were doing.
Well, pressure's on now, isn't it? One of them was definitely Jin. I think the other one was Jun, his father. And it's basically since the original Tekken, it's kind of like been their whole family's just been fighting against each other. So it's nice to see that that's still happening. But yeah, I'm a fan of the Tekken games. I think there's a lot of lore within those games that keeps, and the games do keep that ticking over nicely. Was lost so many hours to Tekken 3 and Tekken Tag Tournament as a kid. So it's always nice when a new one's announced. I don't think the more modern games, they've changed things up a little bit. So it's more about getting combos and keeping opponents juggle in the air, which is where I tend to fall down online. But I don't think any new Tekken's good, right?
Yeah. I mean, is it PlayStation only?
No,
Okay.
It's current gen only, so there's no PS4 or Xbox One, but it is going to be on the Series X and Series S.
Yeah, James, you're a Tekken fan, aren't you?
I used to enjoy it back in the day. I'm not young enough anymore to play and beat 'em up. Can't keep up with the kids these days. But I think it was Kazuya. It was in the trailer.
Oh, yes.
It's
Yeah.
more adventure. Yeah, I've got that.
That's it. Yeah. I don't know, it looks a bit too modernised for me. I prefer the simple times when everything was pixelated.
Darren's back from the void. Is it a Hoover, Darren? That's what we could hear.
No, I don't have a Hoover. I can't afford to have a Hoover running back. I haven't played Tekken since Tekken 3, so I don't really know what's going on, but I'm sure it'll please fans of the franchise.
Yeah, I can't do a beat 'em up at all. I never could. But it looks fun. Let's talk about the Nintendo Direct, because you guys have got Switches, all three of you, haven't you? It's only me. Yeah. Was there some good announcements in there? Let's start with Darren.
Yes, there were, although I think there was lots of rumours doing the rounds beforehand, so potentially some, like there was rumours of a Wind Waker remake and other kind of going big on Zelda, which didn't really happen. But I've got quite a few, but I'll probably pick Fatal Frame, which is a series known as Project Zero over here, but this one, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, I don't think has made it to release yet on Western shores. So it's essentially a survival horror game, but your main method of defense is this thing called the Camera Obscura, and you have to take pictures of ghosts to vanquish them and put their souls to ease, basically. But it's a really clever mechanic because you've got to wait for it to get as close as possible to do the most damage. So you kind of have to watch them shambling up to you before you can kind of take the picture and get rid of them. So I played, I think it's Crimson Butterfly, the second one, and the first one was out on Xbox, actually. It's a really rare, actually. You can get hold of it, a physical copy. It's worth quite a bit of money now. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. So that kind of stood out for me, aside from all the obvious stuff.
I think I've played it. I mean, they've taken that Fatal Frame, and a lot of horror games have used that now, with the picture. I just reviewed one recently, I think. Yeah, it was always, I think I played it on the PS2, first of all, a version of that, maybe on that. Yeah. Richard, what was your one you really liked?
From the Nintendo Direct, I would have to go down the Final Fantasy route, obviously. So I wanted to talk about Theatre Rhythm Final Bar Line, which is the rhythm action game spin-off from I don't know where Darren is now.
That was definitely not me.
Maybe Darren, you should mute for a bit, and then when we speak to you, then we can come you in. Mute yourself.
That's right.
There you go. He's gone. The sound of the plane's gone. You can listen to us. I don't know what's going on with him. He's just on his travels. Richard, tell us about this game again. I'm keeping all this in. It's fun. It's priceless.
So yeah, Theatre Rhythm Final Bar Line. I think is the Theatre Rhythm 3rd or 4th from Final Fantasy. And they've been on 3DS and other handhelds before now, but this one's sort of like to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the series. So I think there's like 385 songs in it at launch, with another 100 to be released as a season pass. And these are brilliant as just a celebration of all the music in the Final Fantasy games. You get to play through and listen to these pieces of music and then tap along to the beat. Just a lot of fun, really, really good. And the art style is more of like a chibi style.
Right.
Really, really cute versions of all these Final Fantasy characters. And I think that's coming to PlayStation as well, but not Xbox. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that because it's been a while since I've played one of those, and I'm happy to play through all that music for the millionth time.
Oh, good. James, have you got one you liked on your Switch?
Probably the most interesting one was Master Detective Archives.
Oh.
Brain Code.
Mm.
It's a bit of a mouthful. It's from the guys that did Danganronpa, which is just mental, that game. And this one's about an amnesiac detective who has a spirit partner. And you have to solve, it's like point and click gameplay. And you have to solve the cases. But you have to go into a different dimension to actually solve the case. So it's all a bit crazy. But very similar to the class trials that were in Danganronpa, where you have to work out what the lies are, the truths are, and then piece it all together. And it just looks really, well, it looks visually quite cool, but I'm sure the gameplay will be immersive like Danganronpa is.
You're just saying words to me. I don't know what any of this means, but I like it.
I know. I feel like I'm talking to my gran.
It's just words. Good. I'm really.
You saw it, did you?
Yeah, I mean, anything when Nintendo stuff comes on, I just go la la la. I don't know what any of it means. It's like I'm in a different world. Darren, I'm going to bring you back for GoldenEye. Let's talk about GoldenEye. It's coming back. Is everyone happy?
I think so. I mean, there was a bit of confusion because it was announced that it's coming to Game Pass and there's also like a remake in 4K. Well, like a remaster, I guess. But there's going to be online multiplayer on the Switch as well, which is really exciting. So I wrote a looking back piece for GoldenEye a few weeks ago, and for people who are as old as, well, I think all of us are, they can remember playing it at some point and how big a deal it was for FPSs on consoles, because it was very much a PC genre until this came along and proved it's possible. So since Rare kind of went to Microsoft and got acquired, Nintendo gamers been wanting this to come back in one shape or another. So the fact that it's coming back across multiple consoles, I think is really exciting. I love GoldenEye, and I'm pretty sure Richard does as well. So I can't wait for this to kind of be resurrected.
Is it going to be a remaster, or is it a remaster from ground up, or is it just like a HD?
I think it's like a HD thing. It's not a ground up remaster from what I can tell. The Xbox One, I think they might just be getting put on Game Pass as well. I don't know how much they're actually doing to that one, but I know the Switch one's going to have online multiplayer. That's what I've seen.
I'm going to be devil's advocate here for you, GoldenEye view. That's not going to age well.
Well, I'm just happy to get it. It's been on a wish list for a long time. I mean, they did reimagine it for the Wii in 2010 as if Daniel Craig was Bond, and they got him and Judi Dench to do the voice acting. And I think that's very underrated. They ported it to Xbox and it wasn't so good.
But that's 2010. That's bad enough.
Yeah, no, it's good. I know you're not a fan of remakes, remasters, Gareth, but I'm excited.
Oh, okay. Richard, are you excited about this?
Yeah, I think I was disappointed when I heard that the Xbox version wasn't going to have the online multiplayer, because I thought that would have been really good to have it back. But I'm excited to play the campaign again, to be honest. So yeah, I'm in for that on Game Pass.
Good. James, have you played GoldenEye before? Is this a thing?
I played it to death on the N64.
Did you?
It's one of my favourite games, yeah.
You're looking forward to getting back?
Well, I'm not very fond of remasters, remakes, anything like that.
Yeah.
But I'm making an exception. GoldenEye.
Well, there you go. I'm really excited.
I read it day one.
Oh, yes.
Just me, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
I mean, none of you mentioned Breath of the Wild 2. New trailer for that.
That's what we were doing.
Yeah, that's on everyone's list. That's assumed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you all a question? Because you're all Switch people. Do you think there'll be a new Switch to go with Breath of the Wild 2? Because they've got a release date now in May, haven't they?
Oh, what, do you mean just like a Switch Pro or something?
Or a Switch 2?
Oh, I don't know about that.
You
I
don't think?
No, there'll be I'm sure there'll be a limited edition console.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely like that.
Shall I tell you the reason I'm saying that? Because I've read a few things about it afterwards, and I think people are a little bit concerned from the ambition of that game. And they're looking at it going, because it's like these two worlds, isn't it?
Mm.
And they're thinking, how are they going to run that on that Switch? So that was the thinking. Is this going to be... I think it will run the old Breath of the Wild ran on the Wii as well, didn't it? So it's like, would it be... the rumours are there might be a Switch 2 because it would be a bit more powerful. Maybe I'm wrong. Probably am wrong. Darren's gone into the...
Yeah, probably are wrong.
I think...
Yeah.
I think that's wishful thinking, to be fair.
Right.
Yeah.
Good.
Look, if you can handle GoldenEye, you can handle anything.
My phone could handle GoldenEye. That's what I say.
Mobile as well.
Good. My Nokia phone could handle GoldenEye. Let's go into Tokyo Game Show stuff. Yeah. Richard, I'm going to go to you first because there's more Like a Dragon stuff, wasn't there?
Yeah. So there was the initial trailer during the State of Play, and then the day after, RGG Studio had their own summit, which was about as batshit crazy as you would expect from those guys. So they showed off a bit more of Ishin, and then got three of the main protagonists from Yakuza 0 up on stage, because Ishin is sort of like a greatest hits of all these Yakuza characters, past and present. But since the initial game, and the now newly announced remake, there's been a few more games. So they got these three guys up from Yakuza 0, the three main bad guys, that are like cult heroes within the Yakuza series, because they're proper evil pieces of work, and they don't appear in any others. So it's good to see those three back in a Yakuza game. And they were sort of, during this summit, they were sort of like bickering with each other, and it was just all very weird, but kind of what you would expect from those characters, essentially. So I don't know how much of them was real life and how much of it is an extension of these characters, but it was good fun.
It can't be real life. I'd be mad if it was. You've been watching wrestling for too long. The belief of wrestling has hit you.
Yeah, wrestling is real. It's still real to me.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on. I see much of this stuff. I don't know what's going on. So this is nothing new. James, tell me about anything you like from the Tokyo Game Show.
Well, I haven't seen much, to be honest.
No, fair enough.
Apart from what Rich has just talked about.
Ah.
I mean, I tried to watch Capcom.
Yeah.
And that did nothing for me. I mean, I don't remember what was in it. Apart that bit of Street Fighter, was there?
Yeah, Street Fighter. Yeah, we know that's coming.
Yeah, not just weird. Again, too modernised. Keep it simple, guys.
Well, I mean, they have
these fights.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fair enough. So nothing for you. What about Darren? Let's bring Darren from outside in the cold. Darren, where are you?
I watched Capcom as well, and it was better than last year's, because last year's was pretty dreadful. But there wasn't an awful lot. But I kind of like the look of Street Fighter 6. I don't think a kind of old school fighting game will be seen as enough these days by gamers, so they have to put some sort of spin on it. But I'm quite interested to see how it's all going to work, this kind of career mode where you go around and make a name for yourself with your custom built avatar. And like the battle arena thing looks quite interesting because they've got some retro games in there that they're going to throw in as well, and you can play multiplayer. So yeah, otherwise though, I think I've said before, I know the Resident Evil games are good, but I've kind of lost my way with them a bit recently. And Resident Evil 4, there was an update, but they didn't really tell us much about it. So yeah, Street Fighter was the only thing that really caught my eye in the Capcom one, to be honest. And the Square Enix one, I got lost with it, to be honest. So I'm not really sure what, if anything, was announced there.
Was it Resident Evil? Do you feel lost with it now? Then, did you like the Village?
I did, but again. It's one of those that I sat down with for an hour or two, and I just haven't gone back to complete it. I don't know what it is. I just don't find the new story arc as gripping as the old ones. Maybe I'm looking through rose-tinted glasses, and they'll tease some of the characters and stuff, but I just don't know. It's not. It just feels like almost like a different game, like a spin-off of the original. And I'm really worried for Resident Evil 4. I don't know why. I've just got a bad feeling about it, because that was such a big game when it was announced, and it got such acclaim. I just don't really see the need to give it the Resident Evil 2 and 3 treatment. I don't know why. I might be wrong. People might be really excited about it, but for me, I don't know. I'm just not that excited about it. I don't know why. It sounds awful, but that's just how I feel.
Well, you're in my camp. Don't go back. Don't go back. Good. Let's just talk really briefly about some of the Xbox stuff at the Tokyo Game. So the big announcements are on Game Pass as well, which is Deathloop. Got its date for September the 20th. So it's coming on Tuesday, isn't it? Next week. You're probably listening to it. It's out. That was a bit of a surprise, wasn't it? No one else surprised. We knew it was coming, but I didn't realize it was going to come like in 2 days' time or something.
No, that's true. It was. I guess we were coming up to the year, but it was nice to get it confirmed. And haven't they said that there's going to be some new characters or an extended ending or some bits and bobs that are going to be new as well?
Yeah, some extra bits.
So, I mean, I'm very excited about this, and I'm reviewing it for the site as well. So I can't wait to get into Deathloop, because I never played it when it was on PlayStation. So I'm very excited for this.
Richard, did you play it on PlayStation?
No, I held off, but I'm definitely going to be diving in when it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, and James, you haven't played it. Of course you haven't. But
No, I haven't.
Are you going to go? You going to play this one?
It's in Game Pass, so I'll probably download it and then look at it and then install it.
Then the next week, shift you, delete some stuff. Probably that or delete. Get some more Gems of War stuff in there.
Don't knock it.
I've done the game, so I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to go back and do it. I really enjoyed it. I think it's been great. What was the other Game Pass one? I can never say this. Ni no Kuni, if I said that right?
Ni no Kuni,
yeah. That's out to play now, and I've even played 10 minutes of it. And it looks beautiful. But that's a really big... because that was just PlayStation. I never played it. Richard, I think you've played it, and I think you're going to review it for us. Is that right?
Yes, I played it on the PS3 when it first came out. Must be nearly 10 years ago now, if not more. And loved it. As a big Studio Ghibli fan, this was a day one purchase for me back in the day. Just happy to be playing it again. From what I have played so far, it just looks... because of the art style of it, it just looks brilliant still. So they've absolutely nailed the Studio Ghibli look of the characters. But then the world, the overworld that you're exploring just really, really looks pretty as well. For a remaster, this is really, really looking good. And it's a great traditional JRPG with Pokemon elements in.
Okay.
So yeah, very good game. Happy to be reviewing it and playing it again.
James, you've got to be all over this, haven't you?
I have my eyes on that game for a while. I've seen it for years and years. I thought, I need to play that one day. And now I can. I just need to uninstall Deathloop first. And then...
Darren, have you played it before?
I've not, no, but Ryan got some stupidly limited edition for PlayStation, so he's got them all. So I've seen him play it, but I've never played it myself. But yeah, I can't disagree. It looks absolutely beautiful as a Ghibli fan myself.
And I think the sequel is coming to Xbox as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Was there any other Xbox stuff that we've missed? Any other announcements?
There was one, not during the Xbox one, but there was a few other little announcements of games that are coming to Xbox, if you wanted to talk about those.
Yeah, go on, Richard, tell us.
First one was Tekken 1 and 2 HD remasters, which another JRPG that completely passed me by when it first came out on PlayStation. But as my friend and I have been looking at getting hold of these retro games, the prices of these is absolutely insane. So the fact that there's now going to be a remaster means that we get to play it. And looking at some of the comparisons as well, they've almost gone for this HD 2D look that Square Enix have got for Octopath Traveler and other stuff, I think that art style looked brilliant at the best of times anyway. And these Sequoian games have taken that approach, I think, and they look really, really crisp and clean. Yeah.
Anyone else excited for those two? I know I never played them. James, have you played these before?
I haven't. I know about them.
Good.
So I'm slightly interested.
Slightly?
I think Richard's drawn me in a bit more.
Good.
Yeah.
Darren, are you a big fan of this series?
I know nothing about this series, but I've seen some members of our team and the internet's quite excited. So there's going to be a lot of people who are happy with this announcement for sure. But no, I'm not familiar, unfortunately.
They'd be happy and then disappointed because they can't relive those moments they had 10 years ago. That's generally the feel of it. No, that's me being cruel and old, but that's good. Anything else that we want to mention before we finish our quick roundup of the festival?
I would just like to say I was quite pleased to see that Odyssey's been made available on Game Pass as well, hasn't it, after the Ubisoft Forward, so that's good for anyone who wants to get excited for new Assassin's Creed stuff. You can get some of the others on Game Pass.
Yeah, that's a big old game as well, that
one.
James, anything else you want to mention?
Well, Octopath Traveler 2, that's coming.
Good.
And the first one was quite good.
Yeah.
So it's 8 new characters, 8 new stories.
Oh.
What could you ask for, Gareth?
I couldn't ask for anything more.
Idea,
I have no idea what it is. Richard, what would you like to add to your final bonus?
Just a game called Wanted Dead, which up until a few weeks ago I'd not even heard of. But I've now seen a couple of trailers, and there was one released during the Tokyo Game Show this week. And it's got me really excited. It's from the director of Ninja Gaiden. And it's a similar sort of action game, but it's tough to describe it. It's almost, there's bits of it where you're cooking ramen in amongst all these hyper violent sections. There's some anime sections, there's some real life sections. The trailer just looks absolutely mental, and it's coming out. The big thing that they're publicizing is the fact that it's coming out on Valentine's Day. So if you've not heard of it, I would just check out the trailer because it's mental, and I think it actually looks like it could be a pretty good game as well.
Good. Yeah, it did. I've seen the trailer for it. Yeah, it just reminded me of it. It does look mad. But good. Gentlemen, that's it. That's it for us this week. But we'll be back soon. I think we're going to be back with game. We've talked about all the games we've been playing for September, so hopefully we'll be able to talk about those. What are you up to this week? James, what are you up to this week?
I'm going to be listening to the Blackpink new album on repeat for the next 7 days.
Good.
That's
Great.
my life.
That's your life. Good. Richard, what about you?
Playing Deerfield Chronicle, the tactical RPG from Square Enix. It's out next week, which I'm very looking forward to.
Great. Hopefully Darren will catch that plane, but what else have you been looking forward to?
Well, if I make it back to my Xbox, then I'll be playing Deathloop, and also the Andor Star Wars series is on Disney Plus, which is a prequel to Rogue One. So I'm very much looking forward to that as well.
Good. I will be this week. I can't remember what I'm going to be doing. I'll be working a lot this week. I'm looking forward to FIFA by the time this next podcast comes out. That's what I'll be playing. FIFA 28, whatever it is. But if we need to get hold of you, where do we get hold of you, Richard?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram, and my handle is @Dobbo1912.
Good. And Darren, what about you?
Terminal 4 Heathrow. No, it's @7 Darren. My handle, that's on Twitter.
Good. And James, what about you?
I'm on Twitter and Instagram @OKQKO.
Brilliant. You can find me, as always, on GB Brody on Twitter and Twitch. But for now, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.TheXboxHub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter @TheXboxHub and search for The Xbox Hub on Facebook.